giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the head apostles of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Akwath who do subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there in the highways and byways, highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom, now more so than ever, especially in these times, making their bodies a living sacrifice out there on the highways and byways, highways and hedges with the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai, who the world through ignorance calls Jesus Christ, which is the spirit of prophecy, which allows those men to go into the scriptures and bring out understanding on a high level and edification on a high level. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the men of Valor Camp, New Jersey, NYC, South Carolina, Las Vegas, San Antonio, the DTA camp as well, Philly, Baltimore, Jersey, NYC, Atlanta, the first camps I ever heard the truth from, Isaiah 62 verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, keep not silence, and give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is a praise in the earth. So this is Brother Hashemath coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Adon Rathazah, Yahweh Rathazah, Lord's will. This lesson's edifying. And with no further ado, let's jump right into the article. And it reads as such. This came out today. Salakia. About a good 20, 30 minutes ago. And it reads as such. Divock protests continue to rock first country in Western Europe to reimpose partial lockdown. So the footage that was showed in the first part of this lesson was from yesterday, from the protests that were happening in Rotterdam. But today, you had a new development in the city of Hague in the Netherlands, where it just got turned up to the max. We'll read about it a little bit. So it says, protests against renewed DVOC 19 restrictions turned violent in The Hague. The unrest comes a day after several demonstrators in another Dutch city, Rotterdam, were injured amid police gunfire. So you had a few people get shot yesterday. It said 7 people were arrested after fierce clashes broke out between law enforcement and anti-lockdown demonstrators in The Hague, the seat of the International Court of Justice, on Saturday. Today, a video shared on social media shows protesters lighting firecrackers that spark multiple fires, causing the skies in the city to glow an eerie red. So you had these guys basically burn down or set ablaze the International Court of Justice, the seat of the Dutch cabinet and third largest city in Netherlands. So, that's 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Lord's will, we'll get to that in a second. It said in another clip, a group of protesters were seen knocking down a traffic pole fitted with their surveillance camera. It said Dutch police reported that 5 of its officers were injured in the showdown with the rioters. One officer was taken to the hospital with a knee injury and a concussion. 2 others suffered hearing damage, while another 2 suffered injuries to their hands. So you have people taken to the streets, complaining of the unrighteous decrees that Esau Edom is setting forward on his own people. And this is coming to Babylon the Great pretty soon. whether you believe it or not, whether you will hear or forbear. These things are set to happen. Let's go and play a couple more clips, and then we'll go into the scriptures and then wrap on up. Don't want this to be too long if the Spirit allows. Slack if the sound went down a and this is going to come out great.
Dutch police have shot and wounded at least 2 people after rioting erupted in Rotterdam over new COVID-19 measures. Hundreds of protesters had gathered to show their anger at government plans for a COVID vaccine pass and a ban on fireworks on New Year's Eve. The Netherlands imposed a 3-week partial COVID lockdown last week as cases surged. 7 people were injured in total and at least 20 arrested in a night condemned by Rotterdam's mayor as an orgy of violence. The city was placed under a state of emergency and its main train station closed as a result of the violence. Videos posted on social media showed burnt out police cars and rioters hurling rocks at police in the city's main shopping street. Riot police used water cannon to disperse them. The measures mean restaurants and shops have to close earlier and sports events must take place behind closed doors. Earlier on Friday, the government banned fireworks on December the 21st for the 2nd year in a row. The ban will prevent extra strain on healthcare, the government said. Dutch police have shot and wounded.
When these things come to Babylon the Great, aka America, they're going to be in a totally different level because of all the people who have access to firearms. You know, it's going to be on a totally different level. And you got Esau Edom, you know, Esau Edom taken to the streets, protesting his own goddamn people, man. You know, these Edomites are through, man. And it's about time. Call all Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. And we're speaking these words of prophecy, you know, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, starting with our elders and apostles. We've been saying these things for years. And now you're starting to see these things come to pass. You know? Which reminds me of another precept. Let's get there real quick. Let's get both of them. Ezekiel 2:5. And whether they were here or whether they were for they are a rebellious house. This is talking about Israel. Yet shall they know that a prophet had been among them. Whether they were here or whether they will forbear, we still got to speak this message. We got to speak in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. speak in the ears of our people the words of prophecy. And also, on the flip side of the coin, all these other heathen nations got to hear this word as well, because they got to hear their judgment. All right, let's get Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this cometh to pass, when what comes to pass? The prophecies, the sword, famine, death, destruction, the RFID implantable microchip, which a lot of Hebrew Israelite camps scoff. And when this come to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. Also, on the flip side of the coin, rulership, dominion, having the heathen in subjection. These things are all coming to pass, whether you will hear or forbear. And when they come to pass, then shall you know that a prophet had been among you. 2 Ezra 15 and 1 again from the top. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Next precept. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Destruction to all you that aren't in this truth, that aren't a part of the body. The 2/3, which are another nation, and all the other 17 nations. Woe unto you. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Why? For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Esau, Edom, he's set to come down with great wrath, man. On his own people too, man. That's how diabolical this nigga Esau is, man. He don't give a damn. 2 Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall fight, and one people shall stand up. Slack, I'm going to start again from the top. Got a little excited. 2 Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. When this comes to Babylon the Great, you're going to have this happen, because you have a lot of these Edomites, as well as other heathen nations and Jakes as well, that got strapped, and they're going to take to the streets, and they're not going to be having it, man. This is going to get turned up on a totally different level once this hits Babylon the Great. 2 Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, which is going to happen when they shut down the access to grocery stores, when they shut off your bank account because you don't have the juicy juice, and eventually the RFID implantable microchip. Well, they're going to be people invading one another, 2 Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And that's what you have happening right now in the Netherlands. People just burning down government buildings and whatnot, man. Salakia. I had that article pulled up, RT News. People just setting ablaze government buildings, the International Court of Justice, end time prophecy right in your face. 2 Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And eventually it's going to come down to this. A man shall desire to go in the city, and shall not be able. That's what you're going to have coming to Babylon the Great pretty soon, because you have something that's called HR 4980. And what's this? To direct the Secretary of Homeland Security to ensure that any individual traveling on a flight that departs or arrives to an airport inside the United States or a territory of the United States is fully activated with the DVOC, Yo Jabba Jabba, and for other purposes. So this is in the state of being introduced. But you already got people in Congress, people in high government seats, influencers, so on and so forth, who are calling for this thing to be to come to law, to come into law. Better yet, you know, and it's only a matter of time before Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, whoever it is, you know, draws up an executive order to make this into law, or they pass it into law. We have to watch out for these things. Sirach 41:5, better known as the book of Ecclesiasticus. The children of sinners are abominable people, are abominable children. And we'll read it again from the top. Sirach 41:5, the children of sinners are abominable children. The children of Esau, Edom, they're abominable, man. And they have to pay for what their forefathers did. And they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. What's it say about that? Proverbs 21:11. Slack it. I had this pulled up yesterday. I just Google it. Proverbs 11:21. Slack it. Proverbs 11:21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. And you have a lot of our people join hand in hand going down to those protests with Esau, Edom, protesting these unrighteous decrees. Well, they're going to be thrust through, Also on the right-hand side, you got the elect. We're, Lord willing, I'll be of that number and you be of that number if you're listening. We're protesting on the right-hand side, day in, day out, preaching and teaching this message, filling the earth with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Constantly protesting Babylon the Great, to hell with this place. Sirach 41:5, the children of sinners are abominable children. And Esau, Edom, he's the man of sin. And he's being revealed, And then shall that wicked be revealed. Well, he's being revealed right now, Sirach 41:6, the inheritance of sinners' children, the inheritance of sinners' children shall perish. And what was in it? The inheritance that was given unto Esau? Well, the fatness of the earth, this age to rule in wickedness, The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Well, that inheritance is soon to perish, We're watching the beginning stages of that happen right now in front of your face. And these Edomites are pissed, But the end has come, The end has come. It watches for thee. Roughly paraphrasing the book of Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. An end has come. The end has come. It watches for thee. It's on the horizon, The writing's already on the wall, man. You're up out of here, man. It's only a matter of time. Sirach 41:6, the inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. Sirach 41:7, the children will complain of an ungodly father. And, these Edomites are starting to, get mad and get salty at what they call critical race theory, which is just true facts on history that exposes their wickedness. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Well, he's being revealed. The man of sin, Esau, Edom. For I have made Esau bare. Esau is being made bare every day through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, starting with the prophets. Then you have truthers bringing out information, his own kind exposing them, and they're complaining of an ungodly father, in the form of their forefathers. Also, on the left-hand side, they're also complaining of their ungodly spiritual fathers on the left-hand side. Dr. Fauci, Klaus Schwab, the World Health Organization, the WHO, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum. These mandates, they're rulers. Well, they're starting to complain about these lockdowns that their rulers are imposing. They're ungodly spiritual fathers. Sirach 41:7, the children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake. Let's go into that word reproach. It says to address someone in a way as to express disapproval or disappointment. And that's why they're taken to the streets, because they're expressing their disapproval and their disappointment in trusting in those ungodly fathers. Their spiritual fathers that they're trusting in on the left-hand side, the physicians of no value. The expression of disapproval or disappointment. Let me see. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The Webster definition. An expression of rebuke or disapproval. The act or action of reproaching or disapproving. A cause or occasion of blame, discredit, or disgrace. Obsolete, which Esau Edom's kingdom is going to become, obsolete. One subjected to censure or scorn, and the inheritance, just read this again, Sirach 41:6, the inheritance of sinners' children shall perish. The man of sin's children and their inheritance is becoming obsolete right in front of your face. And call all Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. These things have to happen. Going back into the first precept that came out in the lesson. 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. These words are faithful and true. Going into the next precept right here in this chapter, and cause them. Slaki got loud motorcycles and whatnot. 2 Ezra 15:2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. The words of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai don't go out void. They aren't, written in the Holy Scriptures just to glance over and be like, oh yeah, that's deep. They're there because those words are faithful and true, and every single one of these prophecies will hit. Last precept, I think I'll wrap up right here. Ecclesiasticus 7:8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And we're in the end of Esau Edom's inheritance, his eon, his age, and better is the end of that than the beginning of it. The beginning of it was the Greeks, but we're in the final countdown, man. Literally seconds left on the shot clock, man. And Yahweh Shai is coming to hit that game winner, man, and send the elect home with the chariots of salvation. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes 7:8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And the patient in spirit is talking about the elect, you know. The trying of your faith worketh patience, roughly paraphrasing. And Esau Edom is known to be proud, you know. He's a proud man, transgresseth by wine. Those proud waves that's talked about in the book of Psalms, the 124th chapter, the 124th chapter, better yet, Psalms 124. Well, those proud waves, you know, they're soon to be obsolete, you know, not roaring anymore. Let's read this again. Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And we're in the end of Esau Edom's kingdom. And better is the end of it than the beginning thereof. So with that, I'd like to close on out. And in closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Akwat who do subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there on the highways and byways, highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom, now more so than ever, especially in these times, making their bodies a living sacrifice, out there on the highways and byways, highways and hedges with the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy, which allows those men to go into the scriptures and bring out understanding on a high level and edification on a high level. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the men of Valor Camp, New Jersey, NYC, South Carolina, the DTA camp as well, Philly, Baltimore, Jersey, NYC. The first camps I ever heard the truth from, Isaiah 62 verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, keep not silence, and give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is a praise in the earth. So Adon Rathazah, Yahweh Rathazah, this lesson was edifying. That's what it's all about. Let all things be done unto edifying. And until next time, tomorrow, if the Spirit allows, Shalom. DTA, Abba Baba. Son. Shalom.